Our guests, Professor Olakunbi Olasope Ni Awofisayo, was born in Ondo town to the family of Oladiran and Bolaji Awofisayo. She was appointed assistant lecturer in the Department of Classics of the University of Ibadan on the 5th of March 1997. She rose through the ranks and rose to the zenith of the rank as Professor of Classics on October 1st, 2016. I want you to be noting this information because I'm going to ask you questions. And you may also ask us questions. Professor Olakunbi Olasope, a thoroughbred scholar and a researcher who has received several academic grants, including AG Leventis Visiting Scholar Grant 2002, University of Ibadan Senate Research Grant 2005, British Academy Visiting Fellowship 2007, Nigerian Academy of Letters Postdoctoral Fellowship 2007, among others, because Tabanika Maka Anikombi. Over the years, Professor Olasope has joined the other classicists from different parts of the globe to explore ancient archaeological sites in Greece and Italy. Her fascination being on the jewels and ornaments of women in Greek-Roman antiquity. In 2002, Olasope was a visiting scholar, University of Texas, senior research fellow, Oriel College, University of Oxford, Trinity Term 2007, academic visitor, Aristotelian University of the Thessalonic, Greece, Spring 2010. Academic visitor, University of Reading, UK. Visiting professor, University of Ghana, Legon, Ghana 2017, 2019, among others. Anyway, she has also attended and organized conferences and workshops and presented academic papers both at home and abroad. Professor Olakunbi Olasope has published papers in many international journals of repute. Her publications dwell on the classics in fueling achievements in the arts and literature. Our specific areas of research within the broad field of classical studies are comparative drama, culture and performance, feminism, socio-cultural history, as well as the relatively new field of classical reception studies. In the University of Ibadan, Professor Olakunbi Olasope has become a household name, particularly among undergraduate students. She has endeared herself not only to her core students, but also to the students in other departments who always open up to discuss their academic and private lives with her. She's seen to so many of them as a role model, mentor, fashionista, in local parents and counselor. Professor Olakunbi Olasope is married to Mr. Oladipo Olasope son, and they are blessed with two lovely, wonderful, beautiful children, Engineer Opeyemi Olasope and Mr. Mosope Oluwa Olasope, OR. Our song Bible level here. Ladies and gentlemen, ẹ bá mi fi àtẹ́wọ́ ariwo pẹ̀lú inú dúdú àti ọ̀yàyà to welcome our special and star guest to our show, Professor Olakunbi Olasope. You are cordially and officially welcome to Toba Okpaleye Live Studio at 101.7 Yes FM, Yemi Shonde Media House, Yemi Shonde Crescent, Felele, Ibadan. You're welcome, madam.
Thank you, Shadu.
Alone.
Wow.
You are too much. Sherry Yai, oh my God, she's so blessed. She's wonderful. She has this peace all over her. Tell about tini peace, kilo tungwa. No, peace is it. If you cannot guarantee that you have peace, the rest of your life, oh my, the pieces. All on you are the pieces. Professor Olasope, let me say to you, by the way, you are the very first female guest on tunjisotimirin's Friends and as you are the very first, number one, numero uno. We need to celebrate it. You know what I'll do? I'm pure water for you. Oh God, I'm celebrating. Oh my God. I'm a party. First we make along. First we make it. But Prof, you are the first child of your parents. You attended Ibire Nursery and Primary School, Felele, Ibadan. Felele, legbe wambi. Ọlọ́run, àṣé Ọlọ́run mọ tó ṣe. Felele, you are back home. Nursery and Primary School, Felele, Ibadan, between 1976 and 1981, and St. Anne's School, Malete, from 1981 to 1996.
How to you?
Boy, 1 year.
1986.
86, mistaken. And me call penny in you 1981 to 86, Abi. I just pay pen error penny. Anyway, you also attended Queen's School, Apata Ibadan. Okay, from 1986 to 87. Just 1 year and year, which you did not complete before gaining admission. Amaso until if you complete here. Before before you gain admission to University of Ibadan, UIT Ibadan. You now gain admission. I'm a sorry reason. Okay, now, Professor Olasope, considering the names and the prestigiousness and the high caliber of these institutions, would it be right to describe you as one of those ajebotas, those privileged children whose parents are very selective and particular about the type, or if you like, the standard or quality of education available in the schools that their children should attend? Or did you just, or was it as a result of the fact that you passed the exams that gave you the admission? Or was it your parents' influence? No, let us know.
Shadow, in those days, you had to attend schools in your local area where you are residing at the moment. So we were living at Felele then, and then we had to apply to schools within that axis. Felele, Molite, Challenge, and of course, St. Anne's is the oldest female school and the best, actually. It became St. Anne's School, Molite Ibadan, from CMS Grammar School from Lagos. So I went to St. Anne's after passing the entrance examination, of course.
Oh, after passing the entrance exam?
Then we did the common entrance, you have to apply to those schools and then you have to pass. So I passed and then went on to St. Anne's.
So it wasn't as a result of your parents putting pressure on you? No. But look at these schools. There were other schools now when you were growing up.
Because I applied to St. Anne's first, so you were automatically supposed to go to your first choice if you passed.
Wow. Congratulations. Thank you. And then at the end of the day, after completing the cycle of higher education and all of that, GC, schools, get admission to UI.
Yes, and I wanted to go to IFE. I wanted to study law.
Okay, we'll come to that.
I sat for JAMB the second time, so I got admission to the university to study Class 6. So I had to abandon the higher school certificate.
So admission took,
to read Class 6.
Precedence.
So
fine. So you're not one of those politicians who would skip and give all kinds of funny reasons, or they don't even have explanation.
No. It's been Class 6 all the way.
No, I trust you. Now, but Prof, correct me if I'm wrong. Classics, as a course of study, is not typically the type of subject that young people who are seeking admission into universities, would be excited about. I mean, what influenced your choice of studying the course at the University of Ibadan?
It has never been an exciting course for younger people. No, it's never been. and it was never really designed to be for younger people. But these days now, we have people coming in to study classics, and they've done very well for themselves. Classics should be a prerequisite course for people wanting to study law. Should be a grooming course for students wanting to go on to become lawyers later in life. So that way they will be exposed and they would gain maturity, and then they'll be able to think analytically and logically, to be able to deal with their cases. But these days, it now comes to classics. We have other courses. We have preparatory courses for people going to study law now. We've introduced those courses. It was actually introduced by a friend of ours. You would remember him, Donya Debowale.
Yeah.
He introduced those 4 courses to give classics more visibility and to make the course more attractive to younger people. In the course of doing that, other lecturers have come on board and we have expanded the curriculum. So we have more interesting courses now. You would notice that I have kind of diversified into drama.
I know. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's quite interesting, and it's good to know that more people are now coming to study that course. So it's not, when we were growing up, we were very scared or scared of studying mathematics because of, I don't know why. Why.
Latin is just like maths. It's that you understand.
Wow.
Either you understand it or you don't. No magic about it. No two ways about it. You must just get the basic rudiments. Otherwise, we just keep floundering.
Oh, got you. Yeah, but Prof, you've taught many courses, both at the undergraduate and graduate levels, in the course of your 22 years as a university teacher.
25 now.
25 now. Oh, long. So we have to update your CV. Oh, long. At CVE, 25. As a university teacher, you've done teaching, at different levels. You teach ancient Greek culture, mythology and religion, Roman culture and society, early Greek philosophy, Greek Roman theater, Greek philosophy, Roman drama, and several others. And these are courses that involve the theories of the different subject areas. Theory, emphasis. Theory, Prof. How are you able to sustain the interest and the concentration of these young students throughout the 2? I want to believe that for a course you have to teach for 2 hours, or have you reduced it?
No, it depends.
How?
Some 1 hour, others 2 hours.
Yeah, but whatever.
It depends on the units attached to the courses, the number of units attached to the courses. But anyway, we have now made the courses more interesting. They become participatory.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I was going to say that because it's.
They would have been bored stiff, sitting 2 hours, don't stop. No way.
And when you say participatory, because
it's no longer the stiff, or the lecturer standing in front of the classroom, reading out notes.
Yeah.
Reading out notes. Now, you give essays. Take-home essays, then we come back to class to discuss these essays. And in some cases, we actually do a bit of dramatization,
Fantastic. And that's the thing. That makes it
more lively,
engaging and all of that.
And then you now have other people from different departments wanting to come to take courses in classics because things are different in classics now.
Wow. You now see the magic that you brought into it. That's what makes you a household name, particularly among undergraduates, students.
Maybe because I was the staff advisor for almost 20 years. The
20 good years. You're a mentor, role model, inspiration, and Prof. Fashionista. So these students, they watch you physically, spiritually, intellectually. They are the students love you. Fashionista, tó bá mú handkerchief dé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni unique. Even irun lásán, she's so God has blessed her with abundant talent, all over. But Prof, let's look at, you've attended and organized conferences and workshops and presented academic papers both at home and abroad. we're not going to go into the details of all the various countries
I
that
remember we met at a conference in Leipzig. So in 2009.
was it Russia?
Germany,
Abi?
Yeah,
Prof.
I remember the chicken.
Chicken Abi? Ẹ̀yin ò gbàgbé nǹkan. Oh my, ṣé pé mo tún tẹ̀lé yín lọ conference yẹn? Ẹ fi mí lẹ̀ jẹ́jẹ́. Usman ń wò mí pé bàbá yìí mo tún lọ sí Germany. Anyway, but Prof, you see, you co-convened the first international conference on classics and global identities.
Yeah, at the University of Ghana.
Another first to your credit. I told you the first female guest, first child of your parents. Another first, international conference. Meaning that prior to this, there had never been any first international conference.
No, not in Ghana, no. They are a smaller department. We are a full-fledged department at Ibadan.
Okay.
So they are now a joint department of Philosophy and Classics, that's at Legon, then Classics and Philosophy at Cape Coast. So they don't have a numerical strength, and then their courses are not as wide and broad as ours. So we complement each other, the two departments, but we are actually the senior, even though we're created about the same time, just a day between the University of Ibadan and the University of Ghana. But the classics at Ibadan is superior to that. Of course. To that of Legon.
UI. I'm a JUI forever. Primary University. I'm waiting to see the university that wants to muscle, the kind of muscle with us go possible. Usman go later.
So it was during the time that I was leave. I think I spent my accumulated leave at the University of Ghana that they now launched their Classical Association of Ghana. Okay. Ours has been in existence since 1956, so theirs is new. And then we decided to, why not celebrate it with a conference?
Wow.
And I had the idea of what I wanted to do, and I discussed with my younger colleagues, because those ones are really very young colleagues. And then they agreed with me, and then we swung into action, and we had the conference. But people were actually happy to join us from all over the world because the security issues in our country now. I'm sure if I tried to convene that kind of conference here at Ibadan, nobody would have attended. Nobody would have shown up.
Yeah, but when you say global identity, I want those of us who are listening right now to have an idea of what you mean. Global identity. What does that mean?
Global identities. That was created by Barbara Goff. I think she said she wanted people to see the connection between the classics and all the other courses, all the other disciplines. So we had to link it with the correlation between drama, theater, and classics. And then that led us to adaptations from Racine, French Racine, Molière, to Shakespeare, then to our classics, and then to Shotterson, who's done a lot of who's done 3 adaptations of the great classics. Yeah. Olarutimi, then Wole Soyinka Abake. So it's now classics is no longer obscure. It has a universal appeal to whoever can look between the lines, read between the lines. So that's our global identity.
Because I'll come to the relevance or the connection between your works and those of virtual officer.
Okay.
I mean, your major research efforts are focused on exploring and recontextualizing important social cultural issues that are in Greek Roman history and literature, bringing them into newer contexts and, relevant newer contexts, bringing the Greek, Roman history and literature and culture, bringing them into newer contexts and relevance, newer contexts. What do you mean newer contexts?
Well, bringing out the relevance, bringing out what people would have assumed as dying causes, dead causes, into bringing them nearer home. Let me cite an example of one article that I wrote. There was something I saw about sexuality in Greek antiquity. All this. So I wrote something on rape and I can't remember the title now. Rape and adultery in Greek society and then Nigerian society, in Yoruba society. You would not believe that in the course of doing that research, the offense, the rape, was not against the woman that was raped. It wasn't an offense against her at all, the way we see it here. That, oh, if you violated a woman, then you have abused her emotionally, sexually, physically, and everything. But it was an offense against the man that actually, the man in her life. It could have been a brother or an uncle, because women at that time, younger girls, were always under the guardianship of a male who could have been their dad, their uncle, whoever was the oldest male in the family was the person that was offended, not the girl that was violated. So the Greeks felt that the offense of rape was no big deal. It was not a serious offense the way we see it. That the adultery was a much more grievous crime. That for a man to have penetrated somebody else's household, the man that has now gained the trust of somebody else's wife, could actually portend evil, danger for the head of household. That is, you've gained the allegiance and the loyalty of the maids, because you must have gone through the retinue of staff before getting access to the Greek woman. Because the Greek woman you would not see on the streets as you see Nigerian or Yoruba women going all over doing their business. They were kind of sheltered. They were sequestered, you know. So it was a big problem then. And I said, how can adultery be much more grievous than rape? Rape is the crime here. You must not rape a woman. The sex was the consenting. But in antiquity, it was not. So I had to sit down and look at both cases, and then, in my opinion, I still hold on to the fact that rape is a much more grievous crime. But in antiquity, and the records are there, the books still say adultery was the crime against the paterfamilias, the head of household, the curious. And then it must be committed in the presence of witnesses. So if the offense was committed in the presence of 7 witnesses, then the man could actually kill him outright, because that was one of the punishments. You could kill or assign a pecuniary fine, or accept a pecuniary fine. Usually, one would accept a pecuniary fine. You would not go for the jugular by saying the person should be killed. But in the particular instance of Lysias Book 1 that I read, said the man wanted to kill him. So he just said, he produced the witnesses and then killed the adulterer.
Wow. Interesting. You know, that's the thing about cultures.
Join the conversation.
Well, we are on, 101.7 FM, and I have Professor Olakunbi Olasope with me in the studio. Prof, so you are going to respond to the bride price, you know, and the dowry issue, which is from our own indigenous culture here, in relation to the Greek tradition.
Okay. You know, here we say dowry, but we don't really pay any dowry. We don't give dowry. It is bride price. But for the ancients, the Greco-Roman societies, it's the dowry, because the father of the bride would give gifts. Could be land, slaves, jewelry, things that would make our daughter comfortable in a new home, things that would make the transition from being a girl to a matrona a whole lot easier for his daughter. And that would be handed over to the husband. The husband would hold it in trust for her until the end of the marriage. And the marriage at that time could either end in death or divorce. If it was a case of infertility, there was childlessness within the marriage in antiquity, all those things would be returned. The husband would return to the father of the bride. But if it was death, then they would be transferred to her sons, if she had sons, at the death of the woman. And then most of the women actually died very young then, because the bodies were not ready to give birth, you know. They were not matured enough to carry a pregnancy to term. So some died during childbirth, and some had a lot of miscarriages and then just died. So the men had to engage in serial monogamy. They kept on changing wives, one after the other. But in our own case,
The Yoruba culture.
The Yoruba culture, we pay the bride price, at least. Some people have actually stopped taking the bride price. They say that they don't sell their daughters. But it is not selling your daughters per se. It is a sign of appreciation. It's a token paid in appreciation of the way you have raised your child. You have raised that so well, successfully, that the groom's family felt that they had to give you something for a job well done.
But when you say price, does it have...
It doesn't really have to be money. It doesn't have to be...
pecuniary. Yeah.
No, it could be a car, a house, or whatever it is.
Or even to express your, appreciation in writing.
Yeah, you could write a letter. We normally read letters during the ceremony.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. To say we appreciate you, and because when we concentrate on give too much emphasis on money, then we lose the importance.
Yeah, of the ceremony.
Yeah, but let's talk about your work in relation to how one of Africa's foremost dramatists, emeritus professor of drama, Professor Babafemi Olasope, adapted Greek plays into Nigerian contexts. Yeah. Your book, Black Dionysus, Conversations with Femi Olasope, is a collection of 15 interviews. 15 interviews. For those who do not have, the copy of this book, could you kindly give us a little insight into some of the issues discussed in this book?
Yes, my aspect, I wrote on his adaptation of the classics. So 15 essays by 15 different people. Some talks about the revolutionary essays, others about his career as a journalist. But I wrote on women of Owu, Tegoni. At that time, he was preparing to write what he wrote now, Medai, the latest. He was gathering material to write that, but he wasn't really enthusiastic about it. He was taking his time. So, Women of Owu was a school text for literature, for the school side. So, an adaptation of
Trojan Women.
Which was pure lament. Women lamenting their misfortune when Troy fell, and the same thing during the Jebu Wars. What happened to the women? How women would always be at the receiving end of all the ills,
tragedies,
of war, all the war crimes, because they would lose husband, lose sons, lose brothers, lose everything and everyone, and then some of them would now end up as slaves in the palaces of the conqueror, of the victors, So that's what happened. And then we had to take this plays around secondary schools in Ibadan, and that was to give classics proximity, to give classics visibility. We wanted students to apply directly to study classical studies at the University of Ibadan. So I approached a friend of mine, now of blessed memory, who was at Chevron then, and then she supported us, the company supported us, and we now took this place around secondary schools in Ibadan without gate takings. And then that year, and since that year, we have seen an increase, visible increase in the enrollment to the Department of Classics.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You see,
and then to theatre arts as well.
You see the value of how drama can be used as a tool to actually...
You call it theatre for development or something?
Yeah, because of the fact that it's not whatever ideas that you propound will not just be on the page, but you take it to stage in order to make it visible
and meaningful.
Meaningful.
Whatever you see, you won't forget. Whatever you read, you might forget, but you now recollect what you have read, and then you apply it to what you are now seeing on stage, and that sticks forever.
Are you suggesting that we should have a unit of theatre within the classics department? I don't mind. I can come and be your dean. Oh no, Omar Domingo.
But we have all our own ancient plays, and then students from theatre arts come every year to do some courses in classics. They do the Roman drama, Greek drama, and then they now go back to the theater to use it as their class projects. So I go over to examine them sometimes, you know. So it's a symbiotic relationship between theater arts department and classics.
That's interesting.